Welcome back, guys. Second edition of our Only the Strong Education series. And what we're going to hammer out today, we're talking about the difference between physical activity versus exercise. So, when we say physical activity, when we say exercise, what's the difference? You go to your doctor says, Glenn, you're in terrible shape. I need you to go and exercise. What ends up happening? What do? We end up going to, a fitness facility, a gym, or we go home or wherever we go and we move. But the reason why I'm having this discussion with you guys today, guys, is because physical activity and exercise are two completely distinct notions. All right. So, in order to define what we call physical activity, we first must understand what we call exercise. So, in 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 a basic definition, exercise is anything that is at a unique intensity to what your specific goal is, working towards the end goal of improving your health in some way, shape, or fashion. So it doesn't just have to be physical health, it could be mental health, emotional health, whatever the case might be, but that's what exercise is. Physical activity in its basic sense is just moving, being active. So is there anything wrong with physical activity? Not necessarily. We just don't want you confusing it with exercise. That's important to note. So the next time you decide to exercise, think about these three factors when moving forward. The first one, target heart rate. So by definition, your target heart rate is a heart rate range in which you should be working out in most optimally to achieve said goal. So, for example, your goal is to lose 10 pounds. In order to lose 10 pounds, you have to challenge yourself, guys. You don't just walk in the gym and the weight just falls off, ready to go. That's not the case. You definitely have to challenge yourself. So, in order to do that, we have to have a target heart rate zone that is at a place which it is challenging, but not at a place which it is incriminating in the sense that you might cause yourself further health risk. So we could definitely go into that in more detail, but really and truly, target heart rate is what you want to focus on. You can measure target heart rate in so many different ways. Feel free to check in the description page below, and I'll give you a little bit more information on that. Next, we have the FIT principle: frequency, intensity, time, and type. Guys, in order to understand the differentiation between physical activity and exercise, really simple. If you're doing something frequently for a set period of time, more than likely you're exercising more than likely than you are just creating physical activity. Now, does that mean that everyone who just does something over and over again is exercising? Not necessarily, but you have a better chance of getting there. If you measure your intensity, you are also, again, more than likely creating exercise and not just physical activity. Time and type go together, guys. How long you're doing it and what you're doing will be a measurement of exercise versus physical activity. I keep making a differentiation, guys, because it's so often we hear people, and I work with people that say, I work out all the time. Oh, what do? I go to the gym and I walk on a treadmill. Or I do that. It's not necessarily working. It's not necessarily exercise. Don't get those two things confused. Last thing we have, RPE, rate of perceived exertion. In layman's terms, this is how fatiguing the exercise is for you. So, why is this important? Because someone who's creating physical activity can have a perceived exertion that's very low. Someone who's creating exercise will have a perceived exertion that's moderate to high level depending on their physical capabilities and what they're used to and what's normalized for them. So, when you're thinking about your exercise or your physical activity, think about what your RPE is. What is my goal? Is my goal to achieve something? Is my goal to lose something, to gain something, to get bigger, to stronger, faster, whatever the case might be? Then this needs to be a really big focal point. Now, that being said, all three of these things work together in congruency in order to achieve that higher state of exercise, guys. So, does that mean that you can't have one of them on its own? You can have one of them on its own, definitely. But physical activity itself is just moving around. Keep that in mind when you're working on a day-to-day basis. Understand the difference between the two, and you're destined to get better results as you push yourself throughout your fitness careers. Once again, it's been an Only the Strong Education series. Thank you for checking it out. Look forward to seeing you next Monday. Have a great week. Peace.